Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Amber and Tally here, and today we'll be learning all about castling. I hope you're excited. First, make sure to subscribe to my channel, click the bell, like this video, and put a comment down below. Now, let's begin. First, let's review what we learned in the last video, which was about draw and perpetual check. What is a draw? Yes, it is when neither player wins or loses. At the end of a real live game, both players receive half a point. And what is perpetual check? Yes, it is when the same position occurs 3 times. I hope you remembered all of that. Now, let's move on to castling. What is castling? Yes, it is when your king moves 2 squares and your rook jumps over the king. And the king is now on the side of the board. But why would you want to move your king to the side of the board? Well, in the opening of every game, the commonly move is to move the queen's pawn or the king's pawn. But when you move one of those pawns, you reduce the protection of the king. You have 2 ways to castle. To the king's side, which is to the right, or the queen's side, which is to the left. However, you have to avoid 5 conditions. If any one of those 5 conditions occur, you cannot castle. The first condition is if there is a piece between the king and the rook. Pretend that this king wanted to castle kingside, but this bishop is blocking the way. It's like the king is a telescope, and the bishop is a wall blocking the telescope, seeing the other side of the wall. Pretend this pawn was away, flying away. On the next move, the bishop has to move out, or else the king cannot castle. The second condition is if the king has already moved. Pretend this king went to e2. And no matter if this king returned to e1, too late. I am sorry, but you cannot castle. Condition number 3. If your rook has moved, pretend you wanted to castle on the king side, but your king side rook has already moved. That means you cannot castle king side, you can only castle queen side. But what if your queen side rook also moved? Let's clear these 3 pieces out and pretend this a1 rook moved to b1. I'm sorry, you cannot castle king or queen side. The 4th condition is that if you are in check, you cannot castle. Now, let's put this rook on the square of e7. Let me draw an imaginary line with my finger and it leads to the white king. You cannot castle because you are in check. The only way is to block or run away. The 5th condition is that when you are castling, you have to pass through check or land on check. For example, this bishop will be here. This bishop is aiming at the d1 square. And to castle queenside, this king has to pass through d1. That is not okay. Pretend I'll just move this bishop back a square to g5. Now it is aiming at the c1 square. And this white king will land on c1. That is also not okay. And that's it for today. Thank you all for joining me on our awesome castle adventure. Keep working on building your sandcastle, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.